Tonight's talk here, and of course, the main theme for us today is Weissenhaus, Weissenhaus, Weissenhaus,
Weissenhaus.
and everything around Weissenhaus, because there's a lot to cover up, obviously. So the good thing is that Johannes and we were there live in Weissenhaus. So
At the
we
luxury resort at the Baltic Sea.
It's beautiful. It is. I mean, everybody said the same, and of course, there's absolutely no doubt this was a beautiful experience, right, Johannes?
It was, and just like it felt like entering a different world. You drive from we drove from Hamburg and up to the Baltic Sea, and there's this private resort, and a gate has to open, and then you just go in, and there's a luxurious building, almost a castle, and you get a shuttle service, even if you only have to work 300 meters. You know,
For example, yes, and you
I have,
just enter the building, and the chimney and the firewood is already burning lightly. It smells nice. The people are wonderful and lovely all over the place.
everyone was friendly. This was amazing. Everyone, was friendly, and
So that makes a lot of that makes it like a nice impact, right? And I guess every single chess player, every press person, everybody felt the same. That worked out very well. So I cannot say anything bad against this Weissenhaus experience. Actually, I think it was that good that I will probably never forget it. Especially the
yeah,
food they had. My God,
yeah,
Michelin
yeah.
2 stars
Two
kitchen.
stars. 4 journalists, 4 players, 4 streamers.
Yeah, no one gets left
Yeah,
behind.
no one gets left behind. No,
So we were
and
there the very first day together, and we took a tour through the shed in Weissenhaus, which we will see a couple of pictures while we're talking. And yeah, also I mean, there must have been at least 2 to 3 people who were decorating everything, who were professional decorators, because all those chess things they have gathered, that was quite amazing. You found a lot of books which were dear to your heart, which you say that these are the classics everybody has to have, and chess pieces and sculptures and everything, and the tables were nice and the chairs looked good, and so many cameras. That was almost annoying because during all of this Weissenhaus, every day there was a team from Netflix,
from
and they
Netflix.
were filming a big documentary. As far as I understood, it's about Magnus himself. Maybe it's also a bit more, but yeah.
Isn't there a documentary planned about the Carlsen Niemann case?
That too, but that is not part of this documentary, I guess.
No, okay.
No, no. This is just about Magnus, Magnus,
Yeah.
how he's playing and those even got into trouble with the other camera people at one point. That was the last day. I'm going a step further where I was there. That the Netflix guy was going in front of the camera, which was the main camera filming everything. And the main camera guy was like, "Are you serious?" Like really loud during the show.
You?
Yeah, but everybody had to film the most important parts. So if you film a documentary, it's not like, "Oh, but try it again tomorrow" or something. And the same goes to the live camera. They cannot say like, "Well, maybe let's make another take about that." It's all live, so it all has to
Yeah.
work.
Oh, we missed the decisive move. Ah, it doesn't matter. They will play again
Yeah,
tomorrow.
exactly. Yes, no, we have to find some other archive material from some streamer who is here, maybe. Talking about
No.
streamers,
Yeah.
if I may, a nice surprise was that the biggest chess streamers in the world were all gathered there. And I'm not sure if I can count Saga Shah into that, but he is also a streamer after all. But it's
I think
it's
you should definitely count Saga
yeah.
Shah into this
Would you
because
call him a streamer or would you call him a chess channel?
actually I don't know what to call Saga because he has so many roles in chess. He's an author, he's a producer, he's the creator and CEO of Chessbase India. He is a streamer because he regularly streams and comments. He interviews a lot of people. I mean, so, and he's a chartered accountant in India. So what to call him? But he's streaming regularly, and so, and he has a huge public,
Yeah.
and so I would call him a streamer.
Okay, fair
And
enough.
what impressed me when I was in Weissenhaus, that the streamers got so-called pop-up boxes when they were not streaming from a building already there. They created special places for the
Yes.
streamers, and
Streamer
these
booths.
streamer booth, and they were not tiny houses, they were relatively large, again luxurious.
So, I'm not all.
Not all. Okay.
Some streamers had a very tiny house, but
Okay.
it was so nicely decorated and so cute. But for example, in the interview I had with Anna Crumling, I had the interview in her booth, and that was all the space we had. We were almost really face to face, and there was no second chair. So the
So
whole
that's
interview, I was on my knees. Nobody noticed, which is
oh,
very nice.
you kneeled before
I
Anna
kneeled
Crumbling.
before her. I told her like I'm married since 10 years. So, but it was very funny because yeah, the whole interview was me on my knees in front of Anna Crumling.
Kneeling before Anna Crumbling
And
to come close.
well, you know what to do if you want the interview. You have to go those steps sometimes.
You
And
have to pay the price.
exactly. And for Saga, he was also in a small booth because I assume he also just mentioned, listen, that's all we need. We're fine. We can do that. And it is quite crowded if there's more than one person. So when
Oh,
there was Frederick inside, Frederick Friedel, our co-founder of Chessbase, and Harshit, that at one point they said like, okay, one of us has to go out and we maybe take turns because it was just really crowded there. So the big studios were the main studio and Take. That was also a big studio. And I'm pretty sure that chess.com also had at least medium to bigger studio, but maybe not. Maybe they also had a smaller one. I'm not 100% sure, actually. I forgot. I have to check out the
I only
videos.
saw the big ones. But what I found striking is that I mean, Jan-Henric Buettner, the organizer and the driving force behind the Freestyle Chess Tour and the Freestyle Chess Tournament, he gave a lot of speeches, and I think listening to these speeches or some of his speeches, I think one of his favorite words is perfect.
Oh, I thought insane.
Insane? No, I thought it was perfect, and he strives for things to be perfect. And I have to admit, watching the venue and following the tournament and the way he managed to attract the streamers to give the tournament a wider audience,
Yeah.
I thought this comes close to perfection as
Uh,
far as the organization of a tournament goes.
I agree. I think it was, I mean, and this is what I heard so many people. This is, for me, it's still all new. I'm in this business kind of since just 4 years, but you've been there since far longer. You've been on many more tournaments than I have. And I also witnessed a couple of tournaments, but this tournament, creme de la creme. No doubt. Absolutely. Near to perfection.
Yeah.
That is something. If tournaments could be like this on a regular basis, and who knows, maybe in the future they will be similar to that. Every player would want to play more chess, and we would attract so many more chess players in the world.
Yeah, but that's the big question, isn't it? How
Oh
will
yeah,
freestyle chess and how will the freestyle chess tour continue?
which
Any insights you can share, Arne?
no. But of course, when you and Andre Schulz had the interview with Jan-Henric Buettner, he also gave a couple of sentences on what they're planning to do. I mean, it's repeating very often, obviously. So we heard it in many interviews where Jan-Henric Buettner was talking about this. And besides that, Sebastian Siebrecht, who's also the organizer of that, keeps everything together, he also shared a couple of things about the future. And in the middle of the tournament, it happened. They announced that they had the deal with the famous traditional Grenke tournament.
Yeah,
And
one of the largest tournaments in Germany,
yeah,
Open, and last year they also had a classic tournament. I don't know why they don't have a classic tournament this year, but they have something else, which is a kind of, there are two quite amazing things with the cooperation with Grenke.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to elaborate on that.
I'm not sure which two you mean, but one of the things is, of course, that
you take the first, I take the other one.
Okay, let's see. The freestyle event is simultaneously taking part at this event, and the prize money is triple the amount. So
yeah,
now my question is like, grandmasters have to ask themselves, shall we play in the normal chess or in the one where we could get technically triple the amount of money?
Yeah, I think the Grenke takes place at the Easter weekend, 17th to 21st, isn't it? Of April.
Yeah,
and
4 days.
There will be a classical open, Grenke Open, and there will be a Grenke Freestyle Open. And in this Freestyle Open, Carlsen and Keymer and some other top players will play. Sindarov, yeah. And what is the price for
270,000?
275.
Yeah, I think 270,000.
270,000, yeah.
Which is quite something.
Which is quite something, yeah. Nice to have, or at least part of it.
If you're Magnus or Vincent.
Yeah, and the other exciting thing about this is that last year the winner of the Grenke Masters was Hans Niemann. And because the Masters do not take place this year, Niemann was given a spot in the Paris freestyle tournament that will take place soon, which is amazing because, I mean, as everybody knows, Niemann and Carlsen had some arguments.
Let's say they're not best friends.
They are not best friends, if you want to put it that way, yes. But Buettner said that Magnus has no decision about who to invite, and that's how Niemann will come to play in Paris.
Yeah.
And sorry?
No, you go.
Again, I mean, Buettner stressed again and again that he wants to create reach, and after reach will come revenue. And if you have Niemann and Carlsen in a tournament, you will get reach because almost all media the world over will report.
This also means, according to Henric Buettner, it will also guarantee revenue. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I wanted to quickly mention about the Paris Open, which is taking place in, don't let me say something wrong. I think it's April, right? Or is it March?
It will come just after the
Grenke. Yeah, it's going to be in April, I'm pretty sure. But maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, it's soon. Soon is a good way to state it.
Soon?
At the end ceremony in Weissenhaus, Henric Buettner was also mentioning which players are playing in Paris, and he also announced that the first 3 places are automatically part of the Paris tournament. And he was also asking some of the players if they want to participate in Paris. And that was very funny because who was that? Who was the first one? Oh yeah, it was Gukesh. So Gukesh got the 7th place, I think. Maybe I'm wrong about that too.
No, he finished 8th. I mean, he made it. Yeah, he qualified, but then he was last in the knockout.
So he was asked, Gukesh, we would like to invite you to Paris. Would you like to join on the stage? And Gukesh said, yeah, sure. And later he was asking Hikaru Nakamura. And Hikaru Nakamura answered, yeah, why not? And Fabiano Caruana was also asked, and because everybody was asked, and Fabiano said, I wouldn't miss it for anything else in the world.
Oh.
So, or even Magnus was also absolutely clear about this, and yeah. So there's a lot of elite again going to be in Paris. Are you going to visit Paris?
Of course I will. No, I mean, what can I say after you said, everybody will be there in Paris. Yeah. What else can I say?
Perhaps. Yeah, but let's get back to the freestyle in general and what we were mentioning, because Grenke Open, that's the next big deal. So I was, of course, wondering what's going on next. So that's Grenke. What will be the next chess tournament where freestyle is part of it? And I mentioned this in the interview I had with Sebastian Siebrecht, Grandmaster. And he said, well, there is a couple of cities who are actually asking, and we have to negotiate and talk about this and see what's coming next. But the interest is, of course, great, because even with Vincent Keymer, they had this Boris Becker moment. So that means Boris Becker, who, the ones who don't know, in the 80s, Boris Becker, young little German guy, played tennis in Wimbledon and won Wimbledon in the finales at the age of 17. That was a Boris Becker moment.
I don't want to be too pessimistic here, but remind me how that story continued and what happened to Boris Becker later in
life. He went to prison, I think. But that was far later. He had a great life for many decades, I would say. Yeah, and he played on a high niveau for a long time. I don't think that Vincent Keymer ever has the tendencies to go to prison, honestly. So
no, I think
from what I know,
I wouldn't wish the fate of Boris Becker on Vincent Keymer.
Me neither. I think Vincent Keymer would only be the chief officer of the prison, if at most. That would be the only thing. But he has a very honest demeanor and an honest way of talking and looking at things. That's my how I perceive him, at least. Nonetheless, yeah. So I wanted to talk about this because it feels weird to me. There is traditional tournaments, and they are all struggling since quite a while, and they cannot proceed without a good investor. So it almost feels as if they go like, okay, so here are the investors. We have to ask them, but we also have to see that our event will be dominated by freestyle chess. Do we take this bitter pill? And this is the question which we will see in the next couple of months, of course. What do you think? Do most of those tournaments, I mean, they could see it differently. They could say, like, what are you talking about? Bitter pill? This is beautiful. We finally can have freestyle chess in our tournament.
I don't know. I was also wondering, how will freestyle chess continue, and how will freestyle chess continue, or will freestyle chess continue if Henric Buettner loses or reduces his commitment, and if the money he puts now into freestyle chess comes, dries up, or if investors say this is not worth pursuing. I mean, and will the public accept freestyle chess? And before the tournament in Weissenhaus, I was very skeptical about it. And now I think maybe Weissenhaus will have an effect. People will see the attractions of freestyle chess. And now the Grenke Freestyle Open will attract players, and they will try this kind of chess. But still, I wonder, excuse me, I wonder whether this is long-term and whether freestyle chess will be able to exist.
I guess this is
without sponsors or investors like Henric Buettner and others.
This is probably on the mind for almost everybody who's thinking about those things. I'm curious what the people in the comments say. Is this freestyle? Is this really something which can blow off and stay consistent, or is it something which, like many other ideas, might fall apart rather quickly? We will see. There's another thing about freestyle which is fascinating, which is the FIDE conflict, because there is no conflict anymore.
apparently things came to an end peacefully.
That's it. Let's not talk
That's
about
it.
that anymore.
No,
It
I
was so
mean, it
funny.
was just Buettner announced that the winner of the Grand Slam will be called Freestyle Chess Champion. And everybody seemed to be happy. And this seemed to have resolved the conflict with FIDE, at least for the time being. Maybe something
Yeah,
will come up and they will find something
something
to
new.
quarrel about.
We don't like the word champion in our regulations. Yeah,
We are
that
the
is,
champions of the world.
it's almost odd. So I don't know what happened. Maybe something happened behind the scenes. Who knows? I don't know.
Who knows?
It just happened like out of nowhere. It was ending. It's not even like, I mean, there should have been a couple of more Twitter posts by both parties, but apparently not. Unfortunately, I don't have an account anymore for X since a couple of months, so I cannot really follow it. But I would have heard from any other news site. But that's, yeah. So, do you think that this is like, this is the cut, and now FIDE is doing their FIDE stuff, and Freestyle is doing their freestyle stuff?
I
Because there
can't.
was also no talking about the contracts anymore, which were part of this whole thing.
Yeah, maybe it's suspended for the time being.
That
But
might
you
be very
know,
good for this year,
but
because he mentioned this year they will call it the chess championship.
yeah,
That he
but
was emphasizing on. Sorry.
but again, I mean, nowadays, what's a tournament without a rating? And you know, you play a blitz game on the internet and it's rated, and you get a number. You are number whatever 5,000 or
Yeah.
6,000 or 10,000 in the world, and you're better than 95% of all chess players. And if you play a game, you can look up this changed my rating. But so far, freestyle chess has no rating system,
But that
and
will
I think
come, no?
yeah, I
It
think
must
if
happen.
it's going to be popular, a rating system or elo system will come,
From 1 to
and then
960.
the question is who administers this elo rating, and if there's a separate freestyle organization that takes care of the rating, I think FIDE will strongly object to that, and everything that has to do with organizing events and you know in the whole thing, there's a whole tradition of chess tournaments that FIDE is in charge of, junior tournaments and you know country tournaments and so on and so on. And if freestyle really wants to become popular or is going to become popular, all this has to be taken care of. And this usually is the job of FIDE, and I suppose they will insist on doing this job.
Yeah, I think you are right with that. And I wonder if there are those very famous big tournaments like the Teen Olympiad or the Olympiad itself,
The
if there's
Olympiad.
something which will, but I don't think, from what I can tell, freestyle didn't have the ambition yet, but who knows? Imagine the biggest freestyle Olympiad
Yeah, this would be something, but I mean,
in
so
Weissenhaus with
this is the
2,000
question.
people.
If freestyle is something that only the elite players play, well, it will only be, you know, in a corner, in a niche. It will not become
Yeah.
very popular. But if freestyle is going to become popular, more and more chess players will play it, would like to play it, and so on. And then you need more tournaments and you need big events, and then this is the job of FIDE. So, but I doubt that we will ever see, I mean, that I will ever see a freestyle chess Olympiad. But who knows?
Who
Who
knows?
knows?
Who knows? Let us talk about two more tournaments which are running and upcoming, and then we want to take a look at two chess games.
Yeah, okay.
We're talking about the Grand Prix of the women,
The
and
Women's Grand Prix.
it's running as we're talking right now. It is in Monaco. This is
Yeah.
the third event so far. It was starting in Georgia, then it went last year, and then it went to Kazakhstan. And upcoming is Cyprus, India too. I think the area is called Pane. I'm not 100% sure again. And it will finally end in Austria in May 25. 2025. And now it's in Monaco from the 17th to the 28th. So 11 days of very nice chess with some of the very best female chess players in the world. Looking forward to that. No stop.
And it's part of the World Championship cycle, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the Grand Prix winner qualifies for the candidates tournament.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, also another thing which is to keep in mind. So we won't stop the chess, because also another nice event is coming up, and you might even visit it for a day. That would be cool. It's the one in Prague. And I just heard very recently that Anish Giri was the last player to join this fantastic event in this beautiful city. And I haven't been here. Can you tell a little bit about Prague, please?
About the city or about
the tournament and the city, maybe, but more about the tournament.
Yeah, the tournament is always very impressive. It takes place in the Hotel Don Giovanni, which is named after the Mozart opera. And it's a very nice hotel, and it's very nice surroundings. And again, it's just, I think everything is done to make the players happy. And also, well, if you're culturally interested, just opposite the Don Giovanni Hotel is a Jewish cemetery. And this is where Kafka is buried. So basically, it's 100 meters. And if you have a room, and it's on the right side of the hotel, on the right side of the cemetery, you have a direct view on Kafka's grave. And
Jeez.
Kafka is, as you know, one of the most prominent citizens, or one of the most prominent people coming from Prague.
Yeah.
And there were even some, I think 2 or 3 or 4 years back, there were some rumors because some German, not particularly reliable chess author invented the hoax that Kafka was a chess player, and he even invented the chess library of Kafka. But this was just pure invention. As far as I know, nobody can certify that Kafka played chess and was interested in chess.
Oh, what a hoax.
And the tournament, the Prague tournament is very interesting because they also have a strong masters, they have a challengers, and then they have a tournament for juniors or talented players. And then they also have just a huge number of side events. And so basically, if you're at the Don Giovanni, it's chess everywhere. It's chess everywhere. And
that's how it should be. And it's long. It's 25th February to 7th of March.
It's long, yeah. So we have 10 days of chess. And also, of course, the city of Prague is an attraction.
I still haven't been there. It's on my bucket list. It will happen at one day. Okay, so this is about with the tournaments with Weissenhaus, and now we will take a look at.
Well, one tournament. This is the Champions Chess Tour, which continues.
Very recently too. Again, yeah.
Yeah, it will start today. I mean, it started already. The qualifying phase started 2 days ago, but today it's the knockout phase.
Oh my goodness, you're
in which,
right.
Again, Carlsen and all the other top players play.
Oh wow, okay. I completely missed that, I think. Yeah, it's too much chess. What can I do?
Too much chess, yeah.
Talking about chess, let's take a look at the 2 games from one of the greatest freestyle players ever.
Yeah, Vincent Keymers. And it's again, I was thinking about, this is just like when I was thinking about Weissenhaus, and I was wondering how it will go down in history, let's say in 20 years' time. And whether people say this is just, was an experiment, and then freestyle chess didn't really impress people, or whether people would say this is the start of freestyle chess as we know it nowadays. And I was also thinking that it was an absolute top tournament. One should not, despite everything, and because it was so luxurious, one should not forget that the top players were gathering there. And well, the winner was Vincent Keymers, which according to classical ELO ratings, was a big surprise.
Indeed.
But afterwards, all, Carlsen, Caruana, they all said that Keymer was a deserved winner and played the best chess. And also Carlsen stressed this explicitly. He said he was very impressed by Keymer's skills in the opening. I think Carlsen said he was able to grasp the essence of the opening position.
That from Carlsen?
Yeah. And I think we should, maybe the two games he played in the final against Fabiano Caruana might illustrate that. And maybe we should have a look at them. So, no, this is not the one. So, let me see. Can you see the chessboard?
I can. Now give me a moment, please, because I, as always, have to adjust the view a little. Okay, one moment. That looks good. Okay.
So, Weissenhaus was played in 2 stages. The one was the qualifier. This was a round-robin rapid tournament, which was won by Alireza Firouzja. And the winner of, the players coming on top, the top 8 players in the qualifier could select their opponents in the knockout stage.
I like that.
And the knockout stage was played with a classical time control. And Firouzja picked Vincent Keymers as his first round opponent. And of course, Firouzja was a favorite in this match. But Keymer won the match, 1.5. And then Keymer played against Magnus Carlsen in the semifinals. And Carlsen also won against Carlsen. And Keymer also won against Carlsen, 1.5. And then he played in the final against Fabiano Caruana. And it's remarkable because Keymer won the knockout event without one single tiebreak. He won all his matches 1.5 to 1/2. And this is quite an impressive feat.
Yeah, and this rapid thing, he was one of the last places. I think the 6th or something like the 7th.
Yeah, he was not that impressive.
It was okay.
Yeah, and in the final he played against Fabiano Caruana, and Keymer had white in the first game, and this is the position they started with. So I don't know much about freestyle chess, but I heard it's good to find out which pawns are hanging in or are not defended, are not protected in the starting position. And in this case, it's the pawn, they are the pawns on h2 and h7. And well, we will see how this influences the opening. So Keymer with c4. And this is amazing. I mean, this is the thing about freestyle chess. Okay, c4 is a rather normal move because it attacks the pawn on h7. But I mean, I think I would have played knight f6 without thinking too long. But the computer says that after knight f6, white is already clearly better and recommends knight g6 instead. So b6, b4, c5, bishop e5, d6. Well, and now white takes the pawn on h7.
So the queen took on h7 was actually quite interesting, in my opinion, because is it poisoned? No, it's not. You can really just take this pawn. Yeah.
You digest the pawn and you feel good. It's just a good meal. Well, but now black regained the pawn on b4. So, and now white develops bishop to e2. Well, and again, I mean, the thing about freestyle chess is that from the very start you have unusual tactical combinations or possibilities. So black here plays rook c5, knight g3, bishop, now queen c7, d4, rook a5, rook c2. So, and now bishop a4 is threatened. And for those unfamiliar to Freestyle Chess or Fischer Random or Fischer Chess, White's next move will or might come as a surprise.
Will blow your mind.
Will blow your mind. If you've never seen, if you never studied the rules of Freestyle Chess, and if you've never seen any freestyle game, you might be surprised that the next White move is possible. So what does White play?
Castling.
He's castling kingside. And this is again, I mean, in Freestyle Chess you can castle, but the squares between the king and the rook have to be free, liberated. No pieces have to be there, and there has to be your king doesn't have. I mean, your king must not be in check, which is the same as in classical chess, and also no piece has to guard the squares your king is walking over.
Yeah, but that's, so, I mean, what you just explained is like how castling works in general. I mean, what we just saw is like, it's insane.
But the thing is that in freestyle chess, the king castles from its starting position.
Yes, exactly.
So it can yes, basically from left to right, you know. And this makes it very difficult to attack the king, you know, because then it just castles and all your pieces have to reorient themselves. So White castled, and then we have a rather normal position, you know, what is normal, a classical position.
Looks like Rui Lopez, which went wrong or something.
And White is clearly better. You know, he has an advantage in the center. The black knight is out of play. White has the possibility to play h4, h5.
And black cannot really castle anymore.
No, because, and again, you know, and black's pieces are not harmoniously placed. So White is clearly better. And Keymer won the opening battle. So Caruana tries...
This rook, it moved like 1, 2, 3, 4 times so far. It's also odd.
Yeah. h4. So, and now Keymer sacrifices the pawn on a2, which Caruana doesn't take immediately, but now he takes it. So, and now black's a pawn up, but White has, you know, he has the possibility to play h6. He has the possibility to play knight d4 with wonderful squares on c6 and b5 or f5, and black is in serious trouble here. But still, one could also argue, doesn't have black counterplay, you know, the passed pawns on the queen side. But these pawns really never seem to go anywhere. Knight d4, queen d7, a1, d2, h6, takes, bishop h5, and now f7 is weak. So, and in this position, Caruana decides to create some counterplay and sacrifices the exchange.
Yeah, it's actually the best move by the engine as well. So
it's
that means
the best
something.
Move. But still, I mean, White's an exchange up, f7 is weak, and the queenside pawns are not that dangerous. Also, the white pieces are still very active. Queen d3, h4. And now people were wondering, I was following this game live, and I was wondering, what's wrong with bishop f7? You take a pawn and you win exchange because the rook on e8 cannot move. And after the game, Keymer said that this is what he should have done. This was the best move. But he played this, rook fb1, knight c8, f1. But one has to say that, I mean, black again tries to create counterplay and tries to bring his knight back into the game. But the position still is clearly one for White because the black pieces are, well, they do not cooperate. Knight e3, knight b6, c1, bishop f3, f5, queen f5. So poor black, you know, bishop g7, bishop f8, and
Terrible.
no progress made. Rook c6, a3, rook d6, and that's basically it. You take, you know, after bishop d6, bishop d6, 96, queen d6, 97. White simply plays queen b4 with an attack on the bishop on b3 and the pawn on a3. And you wind up with, well, the bishop has no square, but even
if
if the bishop had a square, you still have the pawn, and you are 3 pawns up. So black played nothing. He played 97, rook a6, and in this position, Caruana resigned. A very convincing victory by Keymer, I have to say.
Totally.
And so in the final game, he only needed a draw with black to win the tournament.
Okay,
so
almost the same position.
Nah, not almost, because in this case, h2 and h7 are protected. But again, it's the pawn g2 and the pawn on g7. They are undefended. And this will play a role in the game. Caruana played d4. If we have a Dutch defense, kind of. Knight g3, d5, f3, e5. Very bold, a gambit, if so to speak. And now black doesn't regain the pawn, but plays knight g6. And again, I mean, you could also, it's interesting because he attacks the pawn on e5, and he also threatens knight h4 with attack on the pawn on g2. And should black be able to take the pawn on g2, he would also win an exchange. But just interesting is also that Keymer, who only needs a draw, plays quite aggressively from the very beginning. So he sacrificed the pawn for counterplay and to put Caruana under pressure. Caruana defends the pawn with f4, and now black plays knight h4.
And there we have the unprotected g2 pawn.
There we have the unprotected g2 pawn, yeah. So, but black finds an interesting way to create counterplay. He played c4 with the idea d takes c4, and now he plays he just plays bishop a4, c6, and now he plays e4. And this looks as if white will be able to create a strong pawn center. If you take on g2, I play rook e2, and then I take on f5. And
I also have to mention quickly, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, that, I mean, everybody who was black in this tournament had the same position, of course, and white, of course. And I think almost every player with black had a big struggle in this phase.
In this position.
I'm pretty sure, and oh man, hopefully I'm not wrong again.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that it was quite a struggle for black.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the one before too. I'm not 100% sure now.
And I remember I followed this game live. I mean, I was looking occasionally at it, and the engine here said that g5 by black is the best move. And I thought no player on this earth will play a move like g5. It's an engine move, you know. I mean, white just played e4, puts your center, if you can call it this, under pressure, and you play g5, you know. White can take that pawn, white can play any other move, and it seems to be just very unusual. And Keymer indeed came up with g5 and was so surprised. But it's a very, very good move because it lures the pawn on f4 away, and then e5 is weak. And it creates again, and white, it's black who seizes the initiative. Knight f5, knight f5, e5, queen f5. So, and in this position, black is still a pawn up, which white will regain on g5. And now queen f4. And black completely neutralized white's initiative and white's attack. Castles again, here we have it. the castle in queenside. So this is again, Caruana needed to win, and therefore he sacrificed the exchange in the hope of creating counterplay. Again, castling. 96. 98. Yeah. So after rook b7, queen a8, there's not much going on, and so white takes the exchange. Rook takes, queen takes. And now we have an endgame in which black is a pawn up and still only needs a draw.
Yeah.
And e5 is weak. So
and there's another good aspect which you were talking about earlier. There's no rating system right now. So it's like there's not even if it would be meaning that you would, why would you need to ever push if you would win a tournament with 1.5 points? Why would you ever need to try to win a game with, if not even the points would matter that much, right? There's this little incentive that if you could gain like 3, 4, 5 points more, then and you have a clearly winning position, why not win? But here, it's only about winning the tournament, so that must feel relieving.
Yeah, but still, I mean, Carlsen usually played on even in his second game when he was winning. So because winning is fun, and if you have a winning position, you can also say, why not bring the game to its logical conclusion? I continue and I win.
If I'm Carlsen, I would maybe think about that. But if it's about $200,000, then I might
that was
go
the
like,
first
listen,
prize.
How about? I don't care about it now and just take a draw.
Yeah. So king d2, h1, h5, and now Keymer checked, king c3. And Caruana, I mean, he's a pawn down, and the h-pawn is not really dangerous. And the thing is that if you continue with king b4 to avoid the checks,
now it will go to a mate.
I don't think there's a mate, but after b6, white's king is in serious trouble.
Yeah, what to do after a5 is my question.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe bishop
just
b3.
say you push h6.
Yeah.
Then this.
Oh, the king can still go there. Okay, pardon.
Yeah.
That was my fault.
Yeah, but, well.
And white wins.
And white wins. Well, you can play this. Yeah. And
now it's a draw. Anyway, yeah.
At least a draw. I think black is clearly better here. The h-pawn doesn't go anywhere. And it's just, I threaten to take this pawn, go back to h2. So, and therefore, Caruana, well, agreed
to a draw. Good for him.
And Keymer won the tournament. And again, we see. I mean, I think, despite all these unusual positions, it was Keymer really handled the opening phase very well. Managed to equalize. Avoided pressure, put pressure on white, and countered the advanced e4 with g5. I think this was quite impressive.
It's funny that it didn't work out that well in the round robin, in the rapid before, but it is, after all, it's a different time.
10 minutes only.
Maybe he thought differently and needed more and longer time to think about all the variations and options which he can take.
Yeah. But having said that, his time management was also very, very well. I mean, he.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Hardly ever was in time trouble, and so it was quite an impressive performance. And I was jokingly remarking this to a friend of mine that, unfortunately, I mean, the Weissenhaus is part of the Freestyle Grand Slam Tour, and for your results in the tournaments, you get points, and who has the most freestyle points at the end of the year is the Freestyle Chess champion. And if it would have been allowed, Keymer could have won, or if Keymer won the freestyle Grand Slam, he would have been, the freestyle world champion 2025. And he would thus become the second German world champion after Emanuel Lasker. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, but it's quite impressive, and let's see how we will fare in the other Grand Slam and freestyle tournaments.
I'm looking forward to this, and yeah, Johannes.
A last question before we say our goodbyes. Do you feel tempted to play freestyle chess?
I play freestyle chess. I like it. It's, as I said last episode already, I'm enjoying this format. I like the creativity part. I like the randomness part of having a new position. And I like that you don't have to study the openings. I also like studying the openings, but it's kind of a different game like this. So I like it. If I would play if there is a tournament, why not? Sure.
And would you consider, taking part in the Grenke Freestyle Open? I mean, a real tournament with long time controls and...
Yeah, just to test it out. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
How about yourself? You're skeptical.
I'm still skeptical, but after watching the games in Weissenhaus, and well, I think maybe I could give it a try. And just when I was there for the first round, and for the first round of the Rapid, and Carlsen was playing against Nakamura, and I thought it's quite simple. You develop your pieces, you occupy the center, and the rest will happen all by itself. It was a bit difficult than in reality, and then I thought, well, if that's the strategy I can follow, maybe I should give it a try.
Good. There we go.
There we go.
I believe in you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We see each other soon enough.
Thank you, and have a nice day. Bye.
Bye-bye.